And just let her know what the issue is, and she'll get to work on it.
Thank you.
Sure.
We're a little light on people here today. Do we actually have a quorum?
1, 2, 3.
I think we don't have enough members also, so I feel like it's a 7-member board.
Is. I mix up my boards, but I think you are correct.
Well, Adam emailed that he couldn't be here tonight.
Right, he's not around, he's out of town.
Jaime, are we going to go back to meeting in person, or will we stay Zoom the rest of the year, do you think?
It depends on the nature of the meeting.
Oh, okay.
Well, if the meeting is, if there's no official business, then you have the option of staying in Zoom. If you have any official business, anything like you have tonight, where you have a vote on a application,
Yeah.
you'll have to meet in person.
Dan, the way it is right now, we're still under this governor's state of emergency, so we can continue to meet remotely.
Oh, okay.
That state of emergency, the current one, ends on the 15th of June.
No.
If it's extended, you can still keep remote. If it is not extended, the law has been changed, and the village is going to adopt the change so that you have to have a quorum of members present in a remote, in a location where the public can also attend. So that means that a member, if you have a 7-member board, 4 of you have to be at a location that the public can come to. Now, the funny thing what that means is you could literally be at 4 separate locations that the public could come to. But generally it'll be at one place, which would be the Ops Center. What that means is that your other members could attend remotely if they have what's called an extraordinary circumstance. They have an illness, they have a childcare issue, they have car broke down, something like that, which would otherwise do that. Then the person can participate. It would have been nice to be completely remote, but the state has not gone that way because there were a number of upstate communities that simply preferred to stay live.
So next month it may or may not be in person,
Right.
depending on what's on the agenda.
Exactly correct. We don't know yet. Although, Jaime, do we usually meet in August?
No,
We're still in June. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah,
I'm a month
this is
ahead.
June, so next month is June.
July, unless, if the governor's state of emergency is not extended, figure that you're going to be at the Ops Center.
okay.
But we'll know that as of in about 9 days.
Yeah, we'll certainly let you know.
Yeah, I figure I'm just
Yeah. Got a
I
couple
might
of
be
days
doing
to
some
go.
traveling, so
It depends.
it's good to know as soon as we can know.
Traveling is considered an extraordinary circumstance,
Oh, okay.
unless you want people to come and visit with you at the meeting available. You can, it's up to
We
you.
are going to maintain the hybrid option, so it's going to
That's
continue to
true.
be available to the general public, but we're going to be encouraging applicants to zoom in. So we're certainly going to, I guess, I don't know if encourage or discourage is the right term here, but it's better to have it on Zoom than in person. And unless they absolutely, need to. What we don't want to do is to get into a situation where we have, like people showing up with boards and plans that they're laying out that now the public can't see.
Yeah.
So this is a much better, design for that.
Okay.
Stuart, were you able to check, is it a 7-member board or 5-member board? Because
We are, HPC is 7.
it is, yeah, okay, all right, so. Does anybody want to call Joyce?
Let me see.
I don't think I have her number on me,
Let me see what I got.
but I thought she was gonna be here. Adam is the only one I know is not gonna be here. Everyone else, nobody else said they wouldn't be here, so.
All right. Well, we don't have the applicant yet, do we?
No, we don't have the applicant either. That's a good point.
Hang on a second. Yeah, it is a 7-member board, correct.
Okay. No.
So we need what, 4?
You need 4 you would need 4 for your meeting. That is correct. So basically you just need 1 more. So you got Joyce, Phil Ferranda, Steve Casey. Let me see what I can do.
May I ask a question about the house on the agenda? It may not be, I don't think it's relevant to the application. I'm just curious. I drove by it and there's a big sign talking about easement. It protests, or I can't remember what it says. We're fighting the easement or we're enforcing it?
It's I would say it's a land dispute between that property owner and the property that's behind it that has frontage on Hunter Street.
Oh,
So I think you're correct in saying that it has nothing to do with the HPC matter.
yeah, I'm just curious. It's a big sign up. Is that a legal requirement to have the sign up? I'm just curious.
Not that I know of, Dan.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Drew. It seemed a little hostile. I don't know, a little forbidding. And they got, rope over the driveway, across the driveway, make sure nobody, I guess, enters the property.
I haven't seen that, but maybe I need to drive down. State
Yeah, I
Street.
mean, it wasn't, it's not like it's barbed wire or anything. I think it was just some, line across to make sure you didn't try to drive in. Is it occupied now?
The property in question for
Yeah.
tonight? I don't, but no, it's not.
Yeah, it looked vacant, but
They may be doing work inside.
okay. We're not, and the
I
interior
think
is
it's
not,
primarily, if not entirely, commercial property.
Oh,
So the owner plans on using it as a commercial property. I believe kind of like a office share type setup.
yeah.
are they coming to the meeting?
They're supposed to, right? The owner has to show up.
Well, we got a couple problems here. They're not here, but we also don't have a quorum. So even if they were here,
Hmm.
couldn't do anything. So
And what's our quorum number?
4.
4.
I'm following up with the other members now. We shall see what happens. Hopefully we'll get somewhere.
The interior is not designated, is it? Does anyone know? Because I looked at the report. They talk about how they're being careful with the interior, but
no, it is not.
yeah, it's just a nice thing to see, but it's not that it's anything we have jurisdiction over.
Correct. They may not have realized that in their application. Otherwise, it would have been a lot shorter. So they just would have talked about
Yeah, that's
the
true.
interior and the windows and all the other stuff. But
I'm gonna have to call Greg tomorrow. Hey, Greg, where were you? I wonder if everybody is, maybe they just don't realize it's the beginning of the month.
yeah. Listen, no. Follow it up with them. We'll see if they get in touch. If not, and we don't have an applicant anyway, we'll just
Yeah, I think we give it one more minute and then
we say
we call
thank you, everybody. It's been a pleasure.
it.
Have you gotten any responses yet to the Ossining Savings Bank proposal, Jaime? If I could ask you about that.
That's being handled out of the manager's office.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know.
There's apparently a big political fundraiser tonight at Trump National because the
Really?
Briarcliff Police asked us for mutual aid to assist. So they expect protests. So maybe that's where everybody is.
Oh, wow, okay. They probably went to Republican protests then. You know, many years ago, before everybody hated Trump, I went to that Trump National Golf Course for a WOMP thing. And it was kind of nice. I don't know if it was that nice. It wasn't any nicer than like Lake Isle or something. I kind of expected more. But
Well, I know. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Dan. Go ahead.
I know an architect, John Sullivan. I don't think he'd mind me mentioning his name. His firm did the big rental housing on the Ossining waterfront that was finished a few years ago. And he did a clubhouse on a Trump golf course. It wasn't that one, but another one. And I just remember him. He was the one Hillary Clinton mentioned in a campaign speech about Trump having stiffed an architect for fees.
yeah.
It's a real life example.
Well, there are many law firms up here who would be in the same position as that architect, I can tell you.
Yeah. I know a planner who he attempted to stiff. So, yeah, that's not made up. That story.
So, Stuart, I guess we're going to have more money coming into the coffers of Ossining. I see our real estate assessments have gone up.
I got my letter and I was shocked. I mean,
So was I.
It went up by more than 10%. I looked at
Ours
the
went
book,
up.
I said, if this was the stock market, this would be wonderful. I mean,
Yeah.
but hey, Phil, how you doing?
Bill,
All right, we got a fourth, but we just don't have an applicant yet.
And we have a quorum. Okay, so you have options here. You can either take a look at what's being proposed without the applicant here or not. But they're not, as I recall, they're not proposing really big changes.
well, like, I don't know. I don't want to speak out of turn. I could offer an observation.
Dan, whatever you wish is fine. And really, it's up to you guys because technically we do like to have the applicant here. At the same point, we have a quorum and we're able to reach a determination. It's fine, but Dan, whatever you go ahead. It's really you. It's the board's call because the applicant has not indicated that they would or would not be here. So,
Well, I think out of just courtesy, we shouldn't take action.
okay.
I think it's a bad precedent that an applicant
Well,
with the architect didn't show up.
let me just give you a little context there for that.
What?
So not taking action means that a month will go by that they will not be able to get their building permit to do anything on the property.
Right.
They're going to lose a month of work, maybe more. And so I think that if you look at the application and you're not offended by it, and you feel like you can make a decision and that decision is going to be a yes, you might want to take a vote today. If you are, for whatever reason, concerned about the materials or you think that changes need to be made, then you might want to wait for the applicant to show up.
Well, related to that, I don't know if anybody else had a chance to look at the drawings, but they're basically taking two windows that face west. You can't see them from the street, so and they're not on a historic side of the building anyway. And they're subdividing them in a pattern that becomes unique. I find it makes the west elevation afterwards more interesting than it is now, because basically I think now you got 6 windows all the same pattern. Now you're going to have one in diagonal upper right, one diagonal lower left, a little different. So, it's okay with me. Yeah, thank you. There it is. So what I found lacking, though, to my surprise, there's absolutely nothing indicating the detail of those new windows or even the little siding that goes between the one pair window and the single casement. There's nothing that says window frame, color, profile, and siding to match existing. It just says new. And there's no detail of it either, although the detail I'm kind of less concerned about. I'm sure they're going to figure out a way to do it. But I didn't see anything that assures us it's going to match the whatever frame in color and profile was there in 1988. Now, I doubt they're going to do anything different, like paint it pink when all the others are black. But I think as a matter of precedent, that should always be noted. That's my opinion on it. Unless it's there somewhere, but I didn't see it on the drawings. It just says new.
Well, my understanding about those two windows is that
Yeah, that's a good picture.
they're going to just add windows identical to what they were before.
Mhm.
Not
No,
No, I mean, they opened up the wall and they found that there was windows and there was framing for the original windows there.
well, well, that's a very good point then, because there are two parts of the application then, and I didn't even think about the second part, which is they want to create doorways where there are windows in the historic west facade. And that is something you'll never see. And the interior is not landmarked. So I felt it wasn't in our purview. There are the windows in question.
Mhm.
And so I just assumed that wasn't even in our purview. It's the facade on the west, which was built in 1988, filled in 88, that I thought was the only subject of our application. If you went, yeah.
Yeah, do you want me to go up, down?
Yeah, no, go up. Go back to where you were, because
Okay.
unless you want to go to the construction drawings, which really don't offer you much in the way of information, but keep scrolling back up.
Okay.
So I guess that's one question. I mean, anything they do to the interior windows that are no longer part of the exterior, I don't know. I mean, there it is. Well, there's the existing west facade. So you've got 6 windows, and the upper diagonal right, the lower diagonal left will now be subdivided differently than the others, which I kind of thought was okay. But there's nothing that says, and if you blow up that little note where you're pointing right now, Jaime, if you're the one pointing, there's a note, an arrow that points to it. And if you can blow that up, I think you'll just see it says new window in the existing opening or something. Yeah, 3 new windows.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So, and you'll see that little piece of siding that separates the double casement from the single. That's all new too, because you can see from the window above it doesn't exist anywhere. So the drawing's a little inaccurate, a little misleading. The consequences I don't think are significant, but it's a matter of precedent. They're wanting. So.
Oh, well, this enclosed porch, they have a note here that refers to the closed porch as being from 1988.
That's right.
Okay.
That's not in question.
Yeah, so those windows as well are
Okay.
from, I guess, from 1988. They have the architectural drawings.
Yeah, they have Roger Pelleton's original drawings, but it's just basically you're taking out those windows. Presumably, if they're made of wood and they're painted black, or if they're anodized aluminum that's dark color, you're replacing with same. You can't really tell. There's no close-up photograph of what the window frame looks like, and there's no detail of that condition. And I can't imagine, as I said before, they're going to create some new type of window, and they're white frames, not black. I can't imagine they're going to create some new type of window that's a different color just to be different. But as I said, they could have at least said to match existing. The siding, that little strip of siding. And in fact, I'm not even sure if that little strip of siding will be a siding or it'll be a vertical post, because if you look at the distinction between the big picture window and the flanking casements, that's not siding. That's just wooden trim of some kind, or maybe it's a window frame. So there's no indication, although graphically, I guess they're inferring it'll be some siding in between. And all they should do is say it's going to match existing, and the window frame in color and profile will match existing, but they don't. So if they were here, I would say, go ahead. But they're not here, and I don't think that's, and they're not telling you they're not here or
I
coming.
have a question.
Yeah.
Is this considered a contributing property?
It is. It's individually landmarked.
Oh, and also, I guess, are they asking for permission for the windows in the cupola, or that from the elevation, it looks like maybe it's,
Doesn't look,
it doesn't say new, but it does indicate the swing of the windows, which would make me wonder if that's something they want to do, because those aren't there now, at least from the photograph as I recall looking at. So I'm not sure. Yeah, you see, those look like double hung or something. I'm not sure what they are. See the muttons?
They look like they bend in, actually.
Do they?
I do, yeah.
Well, if they bend in, that's not the same as what the.
It looks like there might be a double hung. Or a
Well,
storm
exactly.
window in front of it.
That's exactly my point. The drawing indicates what you would read as two new pairs of casement windows that pivot out. You see that? Those aren't double hung the way they're indicated. So, but yet there's no note that says new window. So the drawings are lacking. Maybe that's an oversight. If they were here, they could tell us. Then we could put it on the application as a note, but they're not here. So I don't think we should extend the courtesy of taking action without them, because there's a legitimate question in my mind.
are they supposed to be here?
They are.
So they're
Yes.
mandated to be here.
They should be at the meeting, absolutely.
And I could have asked them that question.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it looks like it's possible that the drawing is just inaccurate and like that those 3 new windows are actually going into the opening, the existing opening, and they'll just be operable. It looks like what's there now is maybe just.
Well, Catherine, you're right about the ones diagonally. They say very clearly, they're, if that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, but I'm saying you're talking about, is there siding in between? I think it's a case of the computer code, like them just not drawing it into the opening that's there. But it is a question that would absolutely have to be answered.
Yeah, and then I think the cupola, whatever that is at the top, that's something that doesn't reflect the existing condition. So are they intuitively asking for that?
It could definitely be another case of someone, whoever was doing the drawings, just popping in what matched instead of just actually putting the existing conditions that are there. So
Oh yeah, there are all kinds. I think you're right. That could be very much a reason, but that's why applicants are supposed to show up. They could answer the question, and if they were here to answer it, we could just make a footnote.
Yeah, and that's what Adam said in his email, that he had some questions about the same thing, the conditions, because it's not clear enough for us to decide.
Also, they didn't bring a sample, and not that I would, just for future reference, when I had to go through historic preservation a decade ago or so to do an addition on my house, I said new siding and trim to match existing, and I had color photos. And to my shock, the commission via letter demanded that I actually bring a sample of my painted white trim and gray siding, even though it was there very clearly on the photograph. Now, I wouldn't make that demand in this case, but possibly somebody could say that's a precedent.
Well, generally speaking, we do require that they provide high, sort of like high resolution photos of materials that they're proposing to use. I think you're right. I want to say this because I think, first of all, I think you're right. You probably shouldn't take a vote. It seems like there's enough questions that you really need the applicant to be here. But I don't want you to get the idea that there's no precedent for taking a vote without an applicant here. There are occasions where people come in and they are required to get an HPC approval because they want to put in, for instance, an AC unit.
Right.
And so applicants don't show up for stuff like that because they're unaware that they need to.
Well, it does say, Jaime,
I want to be clear about that. That taking a vote without the applicant here is not necessarily something you can't do in future applications, but you probably should not take a vote in this instance.
Yeah, I think your point's well taken. If it were something really, if they had addressed the questions I have in any event, maybe others that Adam had or somebody else here has, I could see your point.
So let's just let's just advise the applicant. We will put this off until the meeting on July. Well, actually, July the 4th is the holiday. So The
Yeah.
meeting would be the following Monday, I believe. That would be July the 11th.
Stuart, may I make a suggestion?
Of
Oh,
course.
when you get back to them, you might just do them the favor of saying that one of the reasons we're not approving it in their absence is that there are questions on their intention for the new window infill in the existing bays, and that cupola, or that dormer, I'm not sure what it is at the top, it indicates casements instead of what's there now. So are they asking for that indirectly?
Got it.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
We will communicate that to them, and we'll kick this over until, as I said, Monday, July 11th.
11.
Okay.
Well, thank you all. I think that's it. There's nothing else, Jaime, on the agenda. Am I correct?
There's nothing else.
Okay, everybody.
For
Thank
everyone
you
to
for
have a
all
great
coming in.
4th of July.
Okay, thanks for helping us make a quorum. We'll see
Okay.
you in a month, a little over a month.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.